This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the U.S. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. This past Friday night, by now you've probably heard, two men I've known and respected for years were attacked on the streets of Manhattan. Anthony Sliwa and former Governor David Paterson, both my colleagues here at WABC and good friends who I go back a long ways with. Now, this wasn't just any random skirmish. These are people that I consider friends, and in Anthony's case, I've known him since the day he was born, literally. So when something like this happens, it hits close to home, you can't help but take it personally. According to the police and the reports, the incident started when Anthony, walking the family dog, confronted a group of 5 people who were up to no good. After a verbal altercation, Anthony did what anyone concerned about their neighborhood might do. He told them he'd call the cops. Later that evening, Anthony returned with his stepfather, Governor David Paterson, only the situation escalated further. This time, with 2 adults joining the fray. 9 people in all, against 2. David Paterson, who, let's not forget, is legally blind, and Anthony Sliwa, who, while trained as a guardian angel and very experienced with martial arts, is just 20 years old. Despite the odds, Anthony and David stood their ground. They both sustained minor injuries, but it could have been much worse. Both were treated and released from the hospital, and I'm thankful they're recovering well. But this attack wasn't just a random scuffle. It was an example of the courage and resilience of both men. I have to give particular credit to Anthony. Standing up to a group of people like that takes guts, and in doing so, he showed the same kind of bravery that his father, Curtis Sliwa, who, in addition to being my colleague here at WABC, is the founder of the Guardian Angels, is known for. Anthony didn't back down, and that kind of character is something that I deeply admire, and I hope my son would be able to behave the same way that Anthony did here. David Paterson, too, deserves a lot of recognition. He may be 70 and legally blind, but he stepped up to defend his stepson just as any of us would defend our own family. And let's not forget David's own service to the people of New York. This is a man who's been through political battles and now a physical one. It's funny, I just saw David the night before this at John Jr.'s engagement party. While we're hearing about this incident because of their prominence, let's remember something important. Every victim of crime in this city is someone's friend, someone's colleague, someone's son, someone's daughter. Just because it's Anthony Sliwa and David Paterson today doesn't mean the thousands of other New Yorkers who face violence every year are any less important. They're not. Their pain, their fear, their trauma are just as real.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
If you're having problems with your septic system and you're tired of spending so much money each year to have it pumped, then SeptiClean is the answer for you. SeptiClean is an advanced specially formulated blend of bacteria used in the treatment of home and commercial septic systems. The breakdown of waste in your system relies on biological activity of naturally occurring bacteria. SeptiClean restores the natural biological process in your septic system and boosts the existing biological activity. SeptiClean is completely safe on all plumbing and can help prevent expensive emergencies in pumping. SeptiClean has approximately 6 to 100 times the bacteria count of other leading off-the-shelf brands in a 1-year supply. SeptiClean comes in a water-soluble pack, which you flush down the toilet once a month with no mess or stress. Save time, money, and maintenance on your septic system. Find SeptiClean at Emporium True Value Hardware on Main Street in Sag Harbor or visit micro-tab.com. That's micro-tabb.com. Micro-tabb.com. The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morning. morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Andrew Cuomo is apparently considering a run for New York City mayor, and I have to say, this is one race I hope he sits out. Now, I'm no fan of Letitia James or Jumaane Williams or Brad Lander, but I'm glad to see that others seem to be sharing my concerns about Cuomo. The fact that there is now a coalition of labor, business, and advocacy groups gearing up to block his return, as Nick Reisman in Politico is reporting. It shows that at least I'm not alone in remembering just how terrible Andrew Cuomo was as a leader. Cuomo's style of governing was often defined by bullying, intimidation, and a complete disregard for collaboration. That's not just my opinion. It's a reality many in Albany lived through during his time as governor. He left office under a cloud of scandal, and his strained relationships with both the state legislature and the current governor, Kathy Hochul, would undoubtedly have negative repercussions for New York City if he were to become mayor. Senate Finance Chair Liz Krueger, Democrat of Manhattan, has already made it clear if Cuomo were mayor, the tension between him and state government would hurt the city. She's right. Cuomo's political style is like a wrecking ball. He barrels through without considering the long-term consequences, and we've seen this before. From alienating key power players to reneging on promises like not raising taxes, his leadership has been erratic and totally self-serving. Does the city really need a mayor who's more focused on settling old scores than solving new problems? And let's be honest, Cuomo doesn't even really want to be mayor. As former Governor David Paterson revealed recently, Cuomo views the position as a consolation prize because his real goal is to be governor again. That's not what New York City needs right now. We need a leader who's committed to the city, not someone who sees it as a stepping stone back to the governor's mansion. The coalition forming to stop Cuomo is a testament to how deep the scars of his leadership run. Business leaders, labor unions, and political figures are wary of a Cuomo comeback and what it could mean for the city. Some are even backing Letitia James, not because they think she's the ideal candidate, but because they want to prevent Cuomo from getting his foot back in the door. That speaks volumes about how divisive a figure he remains. We can't afford to forget the damage he caused. The scandal, the manipulation, and the mismanagement are all part of a legacy we shouldn't be eager to revisit.
Beam me up.
To be continued.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
I am outraged by what's going on at Fairlawn High School in New Jersey. Apparently, during a recent club fair, the administration banned yellow ribbons meant to symbolize support for the Israeli hostages. Innocent people held captive in subhuman conditions by Hamas. That's not just shocking, it's a clear violation of freedom of speech, and it smacks of blatant anti-Semitism. Now, let me be clear. I would be just as outraged if the school had tried to ban symbols supporting Palestinian causes. Whether you agree with the message or not, people have the right to express their support for humanitarian causes. It's what freedom of speech is all about. But what Fairlawn High did is hypocritical at best and downright discriminatory at worst, according to reports, including the article in the New York Post over the weekend. While the administration banned yellow ribbons and the Israeli flag from being displayed by the Jewish Student Union, they allowed the Muslim Student Association to display a keffiyeh, a symbol which I've learned has its own political and cultural connotations far beyond simply being religious. This double standard is glaring. The idea that showing solidarity with innocent hostages is too political, while allowing other symbols to remain on display, sends a disturbing message to Jewish students and the broader community. It's as if their humanitarian concerns somehow don't matter as much. This is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. And unfortunately, this is not just an isolated incident. Parents and advocacy groups like Stop Anti-Semitism have been battling what they describe as a pattern of anti-Semitism at the school for years. One parent, Adi Vaxman, whose daughter attends the school, said that despite numerous meetings with the administration, promises to address anti-Semitism have gone unfulfilled, and if that's true, it's even more alarming. The principal of the school, Paul Gorski, defended the decision by saying both the Jewish Student Union and the Muslim Student Association were treated equally. But that explanation doesn't cut it. The fact is, the administration allowed one group to display a symbol that some view as political while denying another group the same right. That's not equality. That's bias. What's even more frustrating is that Fairlawn High claims to be part of the Anti-Defamation League's No Place for Hate initiative. Yet actions like these make that claim ring hollow. If the school is serious about creating an inclusive environment, then they need to take concrete steps to combat anti-Semitism, not just to offer up empty platitudes.
Beam me up.
To be continued.
This episode is brought to you by SelectQuote. Life insurance can have a huge impact on our family's future. With SelectQuote, getting covered with the right policy for you is simple and affordable. SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents will tailor your experience to find a life insurance policy for your needs in as little as 15 minutes. And SelectQuote partners with carriers that provide policies for many conditions. SelectQuote. They shop, you save. Go to SelectQuote.com/SpotifyPod today to get started.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
6 months ago, someone stopped into ShopRite Liquor in Neptune Township, New Jersey, bought a Mega Millions ticket, and just like that, became an instant billionaire. That's right. A jackpot worth over $1 billion, but believe it or not, nobody has come forward to claim that life-changing prize yet. You heard me correctly. More than $1 billion is sitting out there waiting for someone to claim it, and so far, the mystery winner has stayed silent. USA Today reports that in New Jersey, you've got a full year to claim your winnings, but time is ticking. If nobody steps up by then, this colossal jackpot will be distributed among the states that participate in the Mega Millions lottery. Now, I don't know about you, but the idea of letting $1 billion that someone has rightfully won slip through your fingers is as tragic as it gets. Imagine waking up one day, finding that ticket in your drawer or your glove box, only to realize that the deadline to claim it has passed. Talk about a bad day. Here's what I'm urging everyone to do. Check, and recheck your old tickets. Dig through your junk drawer, check that pile of mail you've been avoiding, or even that coat you haven't worn in 6 months, because let's face it, it could literally be $1 billion quote. Someone out there has the winning ticket, and it could be you. And going forward, why not come up with a system to avoid this kind of thing? Because it's happened before. Think about it. If you're buying lottery tickets regularly, treat it like a mini hobby. Maybe once a week, make a point of checking those numbers as soon as they're drawn. It's not rocket science, but it could make a huge difference. You wouldn't leave your groceries in the trunk for 6 months, so why let a potential fortune just sit around collecting dust? So, Neptune Township residents, especially you, I'm looking at you right now. If you were in ShopRite Liquor some 6 months ago and picked up a Mega Millions ticket, go find that thing. But honestly, this message goes out to everyone. Whether you're in New Jersey or across the country, if you've bought a lottery ticket in the past year and have been a little lax about checking it, now's the time. Your billionaire future could be waiting. Remember, it would be an absolute shame if this jackpot went unclaimed, so get searching. And hey, even if you're not the one sitting on that winning ticket, at least you'll have the peace of mind of knowing you gave it a shot. But for someone out there, this is the chance of a lifetime. Don't let it pass you by. Check those tickets, folks.
Beam me up.
To be continued.
If you're having problems with your septic system and you're tired of spending so much money each year to have it pumped, then SeptiClean is the answer for you. SeptiClean is an advanced specially formulated blend of bacteria used in the treatment of home and commercial septic systems. The breakdown of waste in your system relies on biological activity of naturally occurring bacteria. SeptiClean restores the natural biological process in your septic system and boosts the existing biological activity. SeptiClean is completely safe on all plumbing and can help prevent expensive emergencies in pumping. SeptiClean has approximately 6 to 100 times the bacteria count of other leading off-the-shelf brands in a 1-year supply. SeptiClean comes in a water-soluble pack, which you flush down the toilet once a month with no mess or stress. Save time, money, and maintenance on your septic system. Find SeptiClean at Emporium True Value Hardware on Main Street in Sag Harbor or visit micro-tab.com. That's micro-tabb.com. Micro-tabb.com.